Welcome, 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 Ragers, 5%ers, Patriots. It is me, Red Pill Rage. This is the podcast. I hope that you are listening on either iTunes or Spotify. If you have not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like, rate, and comment. That helps spread the word. This ain't my first rodeo. I've done the podcasting thing before. I love it and definitely want Red Pill Rage podcast to blow up on the internet. Check out my website, www.redpillrage.net, and don't forget to go visit the Patreon at American5%. Today, we have Mikey returning to the show.
Mountain
Mike returning to the show. We've been hanging out, and we've had some interesting conversations. And we had an interesting conversation that in a very, very strange and unexpected way, manifested itself into reality. And we wanted to share this conversation with you. We wanted to kind of share the background of what happened over the course of the day. And I'm going to go ahead and let Mikey take it from here, because I'm going to come in with some Bible scriptures, yes, Bible scriptures, to come kind of to give you a little encouragement and to kind of reconfirm some of the things that we can speak into existence.
Well, I guess the start is I used to be a heavy metal, very rocker, 90s to 2000s type, and that's when a lot of crazy shit was going on in rock, and I got very far away from the Holy Spirit and God, and later in my life, I came to a point where I had everything works in circles, and I came back around and rediscovered my way, and I'm trying to be a better person, and me and her were having a conversation about the Bible and just different stories, and to say that you know for sure what is going on in this world is just crazy. I do know there's a creator. It's too perfect, and things happen all the time you can't explain, and we started talking about that, and the story of Job came up, and how I find that to be one of the most fascinating stories in the Bible. First off, because why is God and devil hanging out gambling with each other?
Yeah, like, why are they hanging out? Are they? They gotta be friends, because they're like vampires and lichens.
But he made him.
Yeah, so it's like, first of all, they already knew each other.
Well, no, it's like dad and son.
Yeah,
because he made
right.
Lucifer.
So they are, yeah. Like, so that, first of all, they're basically family members, okay? And then...
Estranged.
So, yeah, why were they hanging out? But I would think, one is immortal and the other is immortal, so they really don't have a wide selection of friends that they can choose from.
Well, God got so lonely, he made himself so he could die. That's lonely.
That's masochism.
Easy. So, no, it's just, when you're a kid and you hear these stories, so first off, the fascinating bit is that God and the devil are hanging out and gambling with each other, and second off, that, God totally just hawks up his most favorite and devout servant. But it's a deeper story about just appreciating life, and, personally, in my life, I've gone through a rough time, and God sent me a messenger to remind me that just because something bad happens to you doesn't mean God did it, because the devil does still influence this world.
The devil works in mysterious ways. Yeah.
She not the devil, mama. And, yeah. And sure enough, we go over to St. Louis to hang out, and, I don't know, how do you want to tell that part of the story? How it led up to that point?
Well, first of all, I think I don't know if we had gotten on the wrong train in the wrong direction.
There was rowdy riffraff on the train, so we went to skip to the other train, and it pulled off before we could get off.
Well, no, because remember, weren't we going in the wrong direction in the first place?
This was after
It was a transfer. Well, I know it was after. Oh. I'm just saying, if we'd have caught the first train correctly, we wouldn't have. We wouldn't have been on. So it took two fuck ups for us to meet this individual. So yeah, I don't know, something got messed up in the beginning and it took us a while to get back on, and then some akata, and if you guys watch Axe Truth, you know what akata means.
Canadians?
No. The akata was on the train literally smoking and blasting some music, and I just like was overstimulated and I couldn't take it, so I wanted us to jump on the next car, but it took off so fast that we didn't even get on the next car. So this like very, very distinguished, handsome older brother comes up and shows us how to use the heater button on the train stop.
Well, first I complimented on him on his slick ass old school Adidas clothes. He had a man. It had to have been what, 90s old school.
He had the
slick,
bona fide like Run DMC like Armenian gangster jogger Adidas jogging outfit.
It was so slick.
And he was tall, he was handsome, he was friendly. He
laid the moves on you real thick.
He did.
And he was slick as hell about it.
He was flirtatious, full of life, young-spirited.
And suddenly the conversation changed to he was burying his daughter today. Because this happened last night.
Yeah.
And he didn't even, like I told you, Jenny, it was like water off a duck's back. And then he brings up he lost his son 10 years before that. And he's had 3 heart attacks, 2 open heart surgeries. And he still had a smile on his face. And he was the kindest, most man, we had such a good time talking to him, and it made missing the train, all the commotion that led up to that moment, it made it so worth it.
Absolutely. It was, it was cold out, it was a little frustrating to, stay warm when you're on a train platform in
and you weren't
30-degree weather, but it was good. We learned how to press the button to get the heater on the platform working. There's no heaters in San Francisco or LA, so I didn't know that was a thing. Clearly you didn't know.
I just didn't know it had a button.
There's a button for that, so we know that about right in St. Louis and Illinois. But it started with, I just found that it was just so funny because the connection started by him being caring enough toward us to show us how to stay warm.
Absolutely. And, it's also so true, too, because he was the only dude we'd seen in hours that wasn't wearing a face mask.
Oh, yeah, there was that, too. So we knew he wasn't part of the fleet of sheep.
The sheeple.
The sheeple. So, I mean, he just, his personality, his charm, the way he carried himself. And he said he was 66 years old.
He did.
He didn't look a day over 50. Even that. Good black don't crack.
Hey, I pray I look that good at 66, because I don't know if I will.
And it was just, it was funny. I didn't want to say it. We ended up even more magical. We ended up getting off at the same stop.
Well, no, and he brought up Oregon. He was like, hey, have you been through this spot in Oregon? I was like, I used to live there. Mm-hmm. And I looked at you and I said, man, everything works in circles. It's a small world. Yeah. And I mean, it was fascinating because he brought up the pandemic to us, and he knew. He was just so with it.
Right.
Aware. It's so refreshing to meet an older gentleman like that knew exactly what was up. And he didn't see the hate that most people see. I mean, he does, but it's like I said, water off a duck's back.
It's funny because, and this is very personal, and I don't want to say too much about it, but I've been dying inside because of what happened with me and my kid. And I've been feeling so sorry for myself because my daughter's thrown away her future. And I'm terrified at the amount of time that she could get for her charge. But my daughter is still alive. And I'm still alive. And there's more work to do. There's more joy to be had. So, I'm not going to say that I'm like Job, but
it's
my daughter, I in a lot of ways, I lost my daughter. I lost her. She's not, things will never be the same. It'll make it so much harder to heal because of what she did and the situation that she's in and what she's facing now. But why does it have to end for me? And I know it almost sounds insensitive. You know what I mean? Like, even maybe some of you guys are thinking that right now. Like, how can a man talk so nonchalantly about losing his child? Two of his kids. And still have a smile on his face and happy and joke around. How is that even possible? Well, I think if we look into chapter 5 of Job, maybe we can find that out. Call now, if there be any that will answer thee, and to which of the saints wilt thou turn? For wrath killeth the foolish man, and envy slayeth the silly one. I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation. His children are far from safety, and they are crushed in the gate. Neither is there any to deliver them. Whose harvest the hungry eateth up, and taketh it out even of the thorns. The robber swalloweth up their substance. Although affliction cometh not forth of the dust, neither doth trouble spring out of the ground. Yet man is born unto trouble, as the sparks fly upward. I would seek unto God, and unto God I would commit my cause, which doeth great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number, who giveth rain upon the earth, and sendeth waters upon the fields, to set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime, and grope in the noonday as in the night. But he saveth the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty. So the poor hath hope, and iniquity stoppeth her mouth.
Well, and I wanted to wrap up with, this is the same thing as the previous episode, but in this, it's it doesn't matter which religion you're looking at. It's about looking at the subtext, because it's not about the story itself. It's about the codex of that story, and it's to appreciate life, whether you lose or whether you win. To appreciate life. And we all get lost sometimes getting down on dumb things. And, I find it so fascinating that I don't know who or what God is. I know that there is a creator. And, that was a personal reminder to both of us. You know, how we were talking about that just the night before. And we met the kindest, sweetest. Man, he was a badass. He was
Job Incarnate. But he was smooth. He was like, he had like swagger. Like, he was like, that's the type of older man that bangs like 25-year-olds. I'm serious. Like, he had swagger. I didn't get too close, but you could tell he smelled good. And he takes care of himself. And he leaves the house grateful to be alive every day.
He oozed of living life, and it was. That's the thing is just like paying attention for the Hegelian dialect. It's paying attention for God's messages, because He's speaking to us all the time, and you just got to notice it. And she's the one that noticed. She goes, "Wow, we just met Job," and I was like, "Holy shit! Wow." Nice catch.
Watch your mouth in the Lord's house.
I'm sorry. But it was a nice catch, because I was honestly still just so impressed with like how resilient he was, and you made that connection to the conversation we had the night before, and I immediately knew. I was like, that was
Job Incarnate.
Well, but not only that, we were meant to
meet him.
Yeah, we were meant to have a string of incidences of missing trains, so we could meet Job and go, you know what? And you know, even with you, I saw that your spirit completely changed after that meeting, because it is. We all need to pay attention for those reminders of how good life really is.
Absolutely. And on that note, Ragers, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I hope it was encouraging to you. Check me out, www.redpillrage.net. Make sure you are subscribed on iTunes or Spotify to the Red Pill Rage podcast. Please go make a donation. Go visit the Patreon. That is at American 5% on Patreon. All the social links are on my website. Make sure you go check me out on TikTok. Blowing up on TikTok. Doing great things on TikTok.
I know.
That's a lot.
We got a lot of subjects to cover still.
We do have a lot of subjects to cover. Thank you, Ragers. I hope that was encouraging to you, and I hope that fills you with a renewed faith in life.
We all need it.
That we all need.
Yeah.
We all need it.
Yep.